This is going to be your weekly tarot and oracle relationship reading. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the energies you may have been experiencing throughout the previous days, how you're feeling currently, and what may be coming up in the next few days. So I'm really curious to know, what is your word of the day, word of the week? What is your vibe at the moment? You know, we had a very powerful new moon in Taurus recently, and that was reminding us about abundance, you know, setting intentions, you know, working towards abundance, success, getting towards our goals, you know. So what's one relationship goal that you have right now? You know, ultimately, I always say focus on ourselves, but for the purpose of a relationship reading, what's one thing that you aspire to do or to be in regards to your connection? So let's take a look at the overall themes and messages for today. And we have here, be present. Find clarity in the moment. And I love this. Look at this beautiful eye. This is like third eye energy for me. You know, truth, clarity, enlightenment. And I see this really beautiful butterfly in the background where it's showing a massive transformation, you know, and walking through the light. So being in the present moment is super important, obviously, because that's all we have. We can't live in an old story of the past. We can't necessarily live in the future, even though we want to set intentions, but we don't have an attachment to those, right? We want to make sure we're in the present moment and seeing where things lead us. So let's see what else we need to know right now. We have soulful appreciation, heartfelt gratitude. There's another butterfly. What a beautiful symbol, you know, transformation and change. And here we have, you know, a scale. We're looking at equal giving and receiving and balance. We're looking at our wealth, right? What are we grateful for? Excuse me. And I would basically invite you to answer another question, and that would be, what are you grateful for today? What's something that you feel so blessed to have? Now, it can be tangible or intangible. It depends on your perspective and your situation currently, but this says soulful appreciation. Like, what do you appreciate most right now? Okay, and let's take one more here. And we have present power. Well, we have a theme today. So be present, be in appreciation or gratitude, and be in your present power, which I just love. Okay, interesting way to start this reading today. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the connection between you and your person. What's in your headspace, your person's headspace, your heart space, their heart space, overall energy and underlying energy. And of course, feel free to swap sides if it makes more sense. Now, we're going to start with the before tarot. So the before tarot is the energies in the previous days. Okay, so let's take a look at what was going on in your headspace. Ace of Cups. How lovely. This is an energy that says brand new emotional beginning and filling your own cup, which is always essential, right? Fill up your own cup and then you can have two cups. And the Page of Swords. So I invite you to think about, are you doing any energetic chasing? Now, that can be spying or observing on social media. That can be keeping tabs in general. This can be looking at pictures or old conversations or watching stories. Be very mindful of any energetic chasing, obsessive thinking, because when you do that, it's like you're chasing the person and that energy is felt. Okay, and that sometimes is what really makes somebody run away, right? So we want to make sure that we're filling our own cup and not spying on others or keeping tabs. Let's see. Let's take a look at your person's headspace. Okay, well, there's the Knight of Wands. Interesting, getting ready to ride in hot. Okay, so because this is the before tarot, they haven't necessarily rode in yet, but this is the idea that, you know, they want to ride in quickly. Now, remember that they can ride in very quickly, but that's an energy that can leave just as fast. So must be careful with that energy. And there's the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is getting ready to celebrate in this case, right? Three of Cups can be a celebration, a party, an event. It could even be a proposal, you know, so it could be that somebody wants to ride in very quickly with a proposal or some sort of offer. At the same time, whenever I see three people in a card, I think two's company, three's a crowd. We want to make sure that there are boundaries that are being made here, right? So let's see how that plays out. But so far, that's actually very positive. Now, let's see what's going on in your heart space in the previous days. Okay, getting ready for victory. This is really nice. Okay, Six of Wands, public recognition and victory. This is about being recognized. And the Nine of Pentacles, love this for you because this is about feeling good in your own skin. So this is self-worth, self-value, and self-respect kind of vibe. So love seeing that. Okay, so let's see what's going on the other side here. And we have the Ace of Wands. Okay, this is a rod of fire, a spark, a purpose, a passionate new beginning. And so I love that. There's that wand up here being held by the knight, basically saying, okay, give me my wand. I'm ready to go. I'm maybe coming in with that offer. But again, we want that energy to be maintained, right? We don't want it to leave very quickly. What I do love about this card here, the Four of Swords, is that we're showing some healing. So that's extremely positive energy. Okay. Please excuse me here. I'm in a new setup for filming for the next few weeks while I'm away. So I want you to be able to see your cards. Hopefully that's okay. All right. Overall energy. There is the Nine of Cups, getting ready to feast. That's that setting intentions. I'm almost wondering, have any of you ever sort of set intentions with water or spoken to your water? I know that can sound a little odd sometimes. It almost reminds me of that practice where, you take a glass of water and you set intentions with it. I don't know if any of you have ever done that. This maybe is a sign maybe to do that or look into that. But it's basically saying, what are your intentions? How do you fill up your cups? What would you like for yourself? What would you like to manifest? And the Five of Cups here, look at the little kitty cat here knocking over the cup. The Five of Cups is a card of sadness and grief and possibly disappointment. And what I want you to be careful of is that you're not manifesting more of that energy. Whatever energy we're in yesterday is more than likely the energy of today and tomorrow. So we do have to be careful that we're not manifesting the old story. So when we're filling these cups here or we're setting those intentions, you want them to be in an energy that believes you're going to be abundant, that you are in your present power, that you are in gratitude or appreciative, because you can't fool the universe. You can tell yourself every affirmation. You have to believe it. It has to be felt in the heart, in the soul. And this is why I always say that people often have an easier time manifesting things regarding work, or career life in general, because they wholeheartedly believe in their skills. When it comes to love life, a lot of people struggle because they don't always believe they're worthy of having that love or that relationship. And they think, well, it's just going to be like the last relationship, or I was hurt at this age and I'm going to be hurt again. And we just start projecting fears. So please be mindful of this kind of energy when you're pouring into your cup, because you don't want to pour more of that energy into your present, right? Now, the underlying energy is the Queen of Pentacles, and we get this card very often in this type of reading, where the snake here is basically offering that pentacle. Now again, snakes are not necessarily a bad thing. Snakes are about shedding skin. They're about life force, offering the stability of life here. And let's see what else we need to know. The Queen of Swords, two queens at the bottom. Queen of Swords means making boundaries, right? Cutting things out that no longer serve you. Okay, let's take a look at the current energies. See if we get any repeating cards or messages. So in your headspace currently, we have here again, Six of Pentacles. I love this. It's interesting. That Soulful Appreciation card had a scale. And the Six of Pentacles, is about equal giving and receiving and balance, reciprocity, even investment, investing in self, investing in something where you get a return, And something came up interestingly on live yesterday when I was on, and there was this moment where I said, when you make moves, there's got to be something in it for you. Like, you don't make moves just for the sake of making moves, because I do think a lot of people say, but Kelly, I'm making moves, I'm doing things. And yes, it's wonderful. Absolutely make the moves you think you need to make. But I want to remind you that the move has to be worth it to you. There has to be some thought to it. Sometimes it's a calculated risk, where you think about all the options. You don't want to make moves that are lateral, or going backwards. You want to make moves that are a power move that bring you some sort of reward, right, for making that move. I was reminded yesterday of my own career scenario a few years ago where I was in a leadership role in the school that I was in. And sometimes we think about our job options and we say, well, I could go to another school, I could go to another location. Would I really want the same position, same job, just at a different school? No, because I would end up with the same problems or the same situations there as I would at the current place. And is it really worth it to me? It would only be worth it to me if I was going into a position that was one step up or that offered me something, that was of value to me. Doing the same thing in a different location doesn't change the issues, right? So sometimes I think in our relationships, what we tend to do is we tend to take one set of things, and just put them somewhere else. And, that doesn't necessarily solve anything, right? So we want to make moves that bring us some sort of reward or some sort of value. Now, with that, we have here the Five of Pentacles. So, it's almost like somebody is feeling left out in the cold. And 5-5 could be an angel number you're seeing, which is, a tower moment and major changes. There's somebody here who's sitting there in victim mentality and they're crying, and all they have to do is look up, and the key is right there to unlock the door. Oftentimes we don't see the solution in front of us. And there could be various reasons for that. Maybe we don't want to. Maybe we don't want to unlock that door. Maybe we don't want to see what's on the other side of that door. On the other hand, do we really like being in the energy of crying over spilled milk? We don't. Do we like feeling left out? No. But sometimes, we're programmed that way based on our daily experiences, right? And our traumas and triggers and hurts that keep us stuck or in this victim mentality. So, I would say I invite you all right now to look for the key. Keys are about solutions. What is the solution to whatever you're going through right now? What's going to bring you some reward or some value moving forward, or even set you on the right path? Because how do you know, what's on the other side of that door? You don't know. I'm kind of reminded, sorry that I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but I don't know what was your favorite children's book when you were young. My favorite book was The Monster at the End of This Book, and it was a Sesame Street book with Grover. And, I won't give you any spoilers, but it's a great book if you haven't seen it. The premise of the book is that Grover is afraid that when you get to the end of the book, there's a monster. And so he tells you on every page how he is preventing you from getting to the end of the book. So at one point, he's tying ropes to stop the page from turning. And then when you turn the page, he's like, you turn the page, and then he kind of scolds you for turning the page because he's trying to explain to you the fear of getting to the end of the book. And then he has like bricks and cement all over the place, like sloppy bricks, and basically, is trying to build a wall so you don't turn the page. And then when you turn the page, the bricks come falling down. And, at the end of the book, it's, sorry for the spoiler, I said I wouldn't, but I guess I will. At the end of the book, who's the monster at the end of the book? It's Grover, right? And he's not so scary. The situation's not so scary. It's lovable, furry Grover, right? So I don't know why I'm talking about this, but it just reminded me that we don't know what's on the other side of the door. You don't know what's on the next page. You can't profess to know. You don't know until you get there. And I think something that's been coming up a lot lately in my sessions and discussions is, wisdom and knowledge are so important. The experiences you've had in the past. Yes, you trust your intuition, but at the same time, there's knowledge that you've gained throughout the process of life. And, one of the blessings that I have, what I'm appreciative of, is the fact that I get to talk to so many wonderful people and hear their stories. And I observe so many commonalities between them, and it's given me so much knowledge and wisdom, and along with my own experience, and experience of talking to people, that I can read these situations very clearly. And so, I would just say, be appreciative of the trials and tribulations, because they've made you who you are. They've made you stronger. Getting up and going every day, will bring you the rewards. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. You can't stop moving. You can't stop going. So, anyways, I'm just really thinking about that door there with the key. And of course, communication is key. Confidence is key. Yes, it's not easy to make moves, but it is certainly worth it. So let's see what else in your person's headspace here. We have the Six of Swords, and I love that. That's moving on to calmer waters and peace. Could even be a card of travel. And beautiful. There's that Ace of Cups that we saw earlier, filling one's own cup, being heart-centered, making those moves for oneself. That's the key. I always look at it in relationships that it's I bring my best, you bring your best. I can't do it for them. They can't do it for me. That's not how healing works. Like attracts like. When you're feeling good in your own heart space, you attract that in another person, right? And when you're in your personal power, good things happen. When you're present and you allow things to unfold naturally, step by step, day by day, this is when good things happen, okay? So let's take a look at your heart space here. And we have, wow, the Four of Wands, 1111, spiritual ascension, twin flames, soulmate, celebration, 4 could be an angel number that you're seeing. So we've seen 5 4. We've had a couple aces. This is basically telling you celebrate where you're at, how far you've come. I'm always so happy when I talk to people that have made so much progress, and they're taking the initiative and making the moves they need to make, even when it's not easy. It's very satisfying, very gratifying to have a little taste of success and watch it grow. And there's the Wheel of Fortune. See, success, growth, expansion, good luck. And you know what I love about this card is that she has a pair of dice around her neck. And that's like taking a risk. You can either be in dark energy or you can be in light energy. And of course, you can't have dark without light and light without dark. It's part of who we are and what we go through. But essentially, it's about balance, right? And this yoga pose here is saying we're finding balance as we shift. Now let's take a look at your person's heart space. And we have the Four of Pentacles. Now, 444 could be an angel number that we're seeing. Here's the thing. Actually, we had another 4 here as well with the Four of Swords. Lots of 4s. The Four of Pentacles is a card of holding back, right? It's holding on tightly. It's extremes of giving time, love, or money. It's an all or nothing kind of vibe. It's a stubbornness. You can see the head is turned. They don't want to hear. They don't want to listen. They don't want to know. They just want to hold on to their pentacles. And essentially, when we do that in the heart space, we really set ourselves up for missing out on opportunities. Because look, here's the Empress, birthing a whole new cycle. This is Venus energy, self-worth, self-value, and self-respect. I think what's going on here is that there's still healing going on. And especially when we do work on healing, there is that up and down of, can I have this? Can I really have this? What if I get hurt again? What if I make a mistake? What if I make the wrong decision? And all we can do is trust. I know it's cheesy, but trust in the process of going through the motions, of finding that peace, of putting ourselves first. I mean, maybe this is an energy right now for your person where they need to focus on themselves. And maybe, yeah, they're holding back a little bit. That doesn't have to be a bad thing. There doesn't have to be a rush. I always say that as long as a person is consistent, they're working on their healing. They don't have to be fully ascended. They don't have to have $1 million in the bank account. They just have to show steady progress in their life and believe in themselves, and begin to create and do new things. So it's not necessarily bad that they hold back. It just depends on the way in which they're holding back or what they can give. Again, very good cards in general here, but this, yeah, there might be a little holding back. Now, there's the Justice card, and we've seen these equal giving and receiving or scales of justice. we want a balance, right? And with that, we have the Page of Swords. So again, I mentioned it earlier, please be mindful of any spying or observing. I know it's very tempting to keep tabs or to see what somebody's up to and analyze, what's going on in their day-to-day life or other relationships or connections. But essentially, that doesn't help your energy. It doesn't help your connection. Actually, what it can do is manifest other people, other things into the mix that you may not want. So please be careful, because the mind is powerful. Because if you're thinking that somebody is doing something, or they're seeing somebody else, or they're involved in another situation, the more focus you put on that other situation, the more it's going to show up in your day-to-day life. Now, I'm not saying, ignore red flags, absolutely not. But what I am saying is we always have to focus on ourselves, ultimately, and what we're willing to accept and not willing to accept. Let's see, underlying energy, 9 of Cups. We had that earlier. So ask and you shall receive. That's a really nice energy of setting intentions. And we need to do that because the Hanged Man energy means you might be feeling a little stuck. So it's very important to set some intentions and make moves. But again, let me remind you about manifestation that I think is very misleading. I think sometimes people hear, wow, set some intentions and let it come to you. That doesn't mean you just sit there and do nothing. You have to live your life. And this is what I always say about trusting the process. Trusting the process essentially means I'm going to set some intentions. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to make some moves. And whatever comes to me, comes to me. If you sit there and do absolutely nothing to change your situation, but you say, I would like this, I would like that, how can the universe respond to you if you're not making any moves? You also, again, have to wholeheartedly believe in what you're saying. So how do you gain more belief or confidence? Well, you do that by putting yourself out there. And also, it's important to have an open mind. So many people can say, well, this is what I want and it has to be this way. Well, that's not really being open. That's saying, I know what I know, and that's fine. But ask yourself, is that working for you? And that's a really, really tough conversation to have with oneself, because if you're finding that the same thing is happening over and over and over again with no results, you have to change something. And, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So if you're not getting the results that you want, focus on yourself, spark new energy, join a gym, take on a new hobby, make new friends, study something, learn something. Make sure that you are the focus, right? You are number one, not somebody else on a pedestal. When you're in good energy for you, you start attracting new things. And so that's why with manifestation, the key here always is to set those intentions, but put yourself in motion, right? So that's my little PSA on that topic. But let's take a look at the after tarot. Let's see what you may experience in the coming days. Okay. Beautiful. There's another 4. Now you're getting the healing vibes here. Okay, so this is about you maybe healing those past traumas, triggers, and hurts. Oops, as I'm dropping cards almost. And look, there's the 8 of Pentacles. This is like reaping the rewards of your work. And I just always want to remind you that it's not about working hard. It's about working smart. Sometimes people try to do too many things at once. They overkill, they overdo it. It's like, sometimes I hear things like, but I'm journaling and I'm meditating and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and this. You don't have to do so much. Sometimes less is more. Be mindful of how many chefs you have in the kitchen or where you're putting your energy. 20% into 5 different things is not 100%. So sometimes we like to say, see, I'm working. Look I'm doing this, and this. But in theory, deep down, it doesn't really make the difference. What makes the difference is letting things unfold naturally. Sometimes when we're doing too much, it actually blocks you, and there's a fine line. There's really a fine line there. Now, in your person's headspace, we have the World, completion of a cycle. So, they're ending a lot of things, and that's okay because it means new energy can come in. And wow, we've got the 9 of Cups a lot today. 9 of Cups, there's the feast. There's the feast. We were pouring the cups earlier, and now, now we're having the whole meal. So nines, nines are a number of solitude, meaning spending time maybe in deep thought, but then at the same time being on the brink of major change. And this is saying we're gonna feast, gain the energy, and all of a sudden we're gonna end some cycles and embark on a whole new journey. Now in your heart space, look at that. Come on. Four of Wands, Four of Wands. We just had it. Here it is again. Celebration, union, ascension. That's gorgeous energy. I love that. Oh, here comes the sun. The yes card, the happiest card in the deck. Nobody said it was easy, but wow, what a reward, right? What an appreciation for the journey. And in your person's heart space, we have here, the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords essentially means that can't wear the mask any longer. Can't deceive oneself any longer, or anyone else for that matter. It means that they're going to get caught. And I don't mean that in necessarily a bad way. I just mean it means having to fully address things that maybe haven't been addressed or can't avoid anymore. And with that, we have beautiful, the Nine of Pentacles. That's that card we had earlier that said we were preparing, right, for that feel-good energy, self-worth, self-value, and self-respect. So there's those nines, right? A lot of nines we're seeing. Now, overall energy coming up, beautiful. Ten of Pentacles, tangible wish fulfillment. And the High Priestess, there you go. We have spiritual ascension, signs and synchronicities that things are moving forward. And notice how I said moving forward. A lot of the times we can get signs and synchronicities that can actually pull us backwards. It all depends on how you're reading into these signs. Sometimes people will say, well, I'm seeing this, and this. You could be seeing their name, their birth date, and that's a wonderful thing. I've had those signs many times myself. I still get those signs. But what I've learned from experience is that those signs really are testing me. Am I in the old? Am I in the new? And I don't want those signs to pull me backwards. I want those signs to nudge me forward. So let me come back to our original conversation about appreciation. If I do see those old signs and synchronicities, right? I giggle to myself, I smile, and I say, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because without those situations, those trials, those tribulations, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be doing this reading right now. I wouldn't be in the most amazing online family ever. I wouldn't be doing the sessions that I do every day and seeing all these wonderful experiences. So I'm thankful. I am so thankful. So please be mindful of how you are seeing your signs and synchronicities. Because if they're pulling you backwards and you're not seeing any change and it keeps you waiting, then you know that something has to shift. And you'll shift when you're ready. But just understand that sometimes signs and synchronicities don't necessarily verify that it's this, that, or whatever, or who. It's just nudging you to push yourself forward, okay? Because you want to get to this. If you're not in the Ten of Pentacles energy, then you've got to strive to get there. Because you don't want to go backwards. You don't want to be without your tangible fulfillment. You want to have the home, the family, the finances, the career. You want the dog, whatever it is. You want to have it all. And if you're not having it all, then you have to ask yourself, are your signs and synchronicities pulling you backwards into nostalgia or holding you back, right? Because we want to be in this kind of energy. Underlying energy, look at this. We're healing the broken heart. I love that. We're coming out of that brokenness. And there's the Ace of Swords. We're getting the clarity and the truth and the enlightenment. And I have to say, as per usual, whenever I get to the end of these readings, I see how everything came full circle. How we go through these, ups and downs, but in the end, it comes out that if we want to have this fulfillment, we have to go through the healing. We have to acknowledge the truth. We have to take off the mask. We have to work hard. We have to do the healing. We have to set the intentions so we can feast. We need to be in that present energy. We have to have that gratitude, because without any of that, what do we have? Right? We can't expect the universe to deliver if we're not putting good energy out there. Okay, so let me just take one card for each side here as some last guidance. And we have releasing. So on your side here, release, purge, surrender, release the expectations. I think expectations are the root of all problems. You know, when we expect someone to do something just because we want them to do it, sometimes we just have to let go, let God, let the universe take the wheel and see what happens and move ourselves forward to gain experience, to gain appreciation, and do the work, the right kind of work smart so that we can have the healing and the abundance. All of that is possible. It just depends on where you're at in the journey, and everybody's on a different timeline. And look at this for your person side. Embrace uncertainty. This is the key here. This is saying we don't know what's on the other side of that door, just like I talked about earlier. We don't know what's on the other side. It could be the best thing that ever happened to us. And we have to be careful that we're not projecting that something's not going to be good. That just comes from old stories and old programming. So I really hope this resonates with you. If you'd like to do a personal reading with me, the link is in my bio. As always, I appreciate the likes, the comments, the subscribes. It really means the world to me. So thank you very much, and I wish you an amazing day.